Now, every story ever told can be broken down into 3 distinct parts. The beginning, the middle, and the twist.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode 111 of The Horror of Babylon, where we discuss Goosebumps, starring Jack Black. I am Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
And thank you to our patrons, including Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain, yo.
Oh, she makes it rain. And thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, or at the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.fourhorsemencomics.com. And if you make it into the store, say hello to the proprietor, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. Also, we want to take a quick minute to announce that they have given us 4 Magic the Gathering secret layers to give away to our listeners and patrons. If you don't play Magic the Gathering, they're special promo card sets with special art, and they're always like themed around a movie or an artist or something like that. So if you're not into Magic, they do have value, and they do look awesome on a shelf, and they're also really good for regifting to the Magic player in your life. We have 2 Evil Dead sets and 2 Princess Bride sets. We are going to give away 2 to patrons and 2 to non-patrons or just anybody. And our first one is going to be given away to patrons on Saturday, February 3rd. It is going to be the foil Evil Dead set to any patron at any current level. So if you want to be in on that, just join the Patreon at any level. We even do a free week of like a free trial.
You could time it just right.
You could time it. I won't come at you if you join and then quit.
In fact, I will give you a personal shout out.
Yeah, and we'll still give you a title.
Yeah.
It may not be a flattering title, but
I don't know. I'd probably do like so and so the clever.
I was something like so and so the 6th apprentice of Black Magician Flag, something
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, moving on. Trigger warning, dolls. If like puppets and dolls freak you out, don't watch this.
Mean neighbors.
Mean neighbors. Yeah.
Mean neighbors scare me.
You see that fence?
Yeah.
You see that fence? Yeah. Stay on your side.
That's who I want to grow up to be.
Cringy parents. I'm gonna do some educating, some administrating.
Don't be twerking, yo. I don't even know what twerking is. Have you ever done something like that to your kids?
Oh, every day.
I love it.
Every single day. It's my favorite thing to do. Speaking of my kids, our history with Goosebumps, I went and saw this with Emma in theaters 2015. It instantly became like a favorite of both of ours, and we watch it probably at least once a year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just watched it for the podcast.
Yay!
The vampire's a pure myth. superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Background: this film was released June 24th, 2015. Great summer movie. It's based on the book series Goosebumps by R.L. Stine. It was directed by Rob Letterman, who you may know from Shark Tale, Monsters vs. Aliens, Detective Pikachu, and he is the showrunner and creator of the new Disney Plus Hulu Goosebumps TV series. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I still need to watch Detective Pikachu.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. It's probably my second or third favorite video game movie.
Okay.
It was written by Darren Lemke, who did screenplays for the Ryan Reynolds film Turbo and Shrek Forever After.
I never heard of Turbo.
It's the racing one with the snail. It's a DreamWorks movie.
Okay.
And he also has the story credit for Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween and the first Shazam movie.
First Shazam, pretty good.
Yeah, it's real good. So, did a little bit of research. They had been talking about, there had been a Goosebumps movie in development since the mid-90s. The very first one, George A. Romero wrote a script for film adaptation of the first Goosebumps movie, Welcome to Dead House. Scholastic rejected it, and apparently it's kept on file at the University of Pittsburgh because he's from Pittsburgh, so it's like in their archives there.
I kind of want to read that.
Yeah, I really want to read that. So then the Goosebumps TV show got really popular, and they were looking at making a second attempt at a movie. In 1998, Tim Burton was attached to direct a Goosebumps movie, and it just kind of fell through, and it never happened.
Okay.
But in 2008, Columbia acquired the rights to it and started it pre-development, and it took like 7 years for the film to actually happen. From Columbia getting the rights, really, like they've been trying to make a movie since the mid-90s, and it's, I know like so many movie ideas are thrown out and just never happen, but you feel like a Goosebumps movie is such like an easy trigger to pull. It's weird to me that it took so long for it to happen.
Yeah.
And also, you just mentioned Detective Pikachu. Like, I have no idea why it took so long for a Pokemon movie to happen also.
I don't have anything for that. Like,
it just seems like free money. Like, come and get this money.
Yeah. Like, especially Pokemon, because that stuff has been consistently, like, in the public zeitgeist for like 30 years now.
I think I read somewhere that, and I don't have any way to back this up, that it's like the best-selling like pop culture franchise of all time.
Yeah.
Like over Star Wars, over Marvel, like
that wouldn't make me bat an eye.
Yeah. So this film was filmed, principal photography was from April to July in 2014 in Atlanta, and the movie has mainly received positive reviews from critics, praised for its humor, pacing, and faithfulness to the Goosebumps franchise. It had a reported budget of between $58 and $84 million and came back with a box office of $158.3 million.
All right.
And go ahead.
It's just the budget. Like, this movie didn't look cheap.
Mm-hmm.
$84 million seems like a lot. 50 I would have guessed.
So when we get to scary shit, I can expound on that a little bit, because I did a little
like extra research.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was nominated for Best Fantasy Film in the 2015 Saturn Awards. It lost to the Disney live-action remake of Cinderella, which is a very good movie. But listen to one of the other movies nominated was Ted 2. And if you think of like a story of a kid whose teddy bear who comes to life, that is a fantasy. But is it a fantasy film?
I really need to watch the Ted series because every clip I see of it is the funniest thing.
I've been avoiding it, but maybe I should watch it.
I hate that it is, but it's like legitimately these are the funniest clips I've ever seen. And I'm like, if the like episodes themselves carry that same energy, it might be the funniest show ever made.
Okay, well maybe I'll have to try it. I love both the movies.
Me too. I just
yeah,
wasn't expecting it.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, Good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Okay, so let's jump into structure and themes. So, before I ask a couple questions, what were your expectations of this movie?
Okay, so I was gonna try to bury the lead on a few things. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, I watched the trailer, right? And in the trailer, they open up with R.L. Stine in the classroom, like what's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's the beginning, the middle, and the twist.
Which is the quote that I'm going to use to open this episode.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm watching the trailer, I'm like, either the main character boy or that girl's a monster. Was immediately just from watching the trailer. So, and this is a movie mostly geared towards, like, kids.
Well,
or families.
You got to own up on our Midnight Mass episode, so I'll own up now. I did not see that coming.
So, those were my guesses just from the trailer. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there watching the movie going, okay, is it going to be like when I first watched the trailer, my initial guess was, okay, this entire thing is just a story and he's going to find out he's a character in it. Mm-hmm. Or the girl's one of the monsters was like my second guess. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, okay, you know. So we'll get more into that as we go. So
kind of the direction I was trying to push you was like, did you think that they were going to adapt one of the books?
No, just from the trailer, because I saw the trailer before I knew about the movie was coming out. Mm-hmm. So I knew what the plot was going to be. I would have liked it, like, if you would have asked me, like, do you want, we're going to do a Goosebumps movie, what do you want me to do? I would have handed them, like, one of the Slappy books and be like, there you go, free money.
I didn't watch the trailer prior to going to the movie, so I was hoping for an adaptation of a book, but I like what they did.
I like what they did,
and I think overall it works. And they're like potato chips. Why adapt just one?
Yeah,
why let's have all of them.
And then the option to adapt these things still exists.
Yeah, and when we get to Goosebumps 2, I would argue that one is not an adaptation of a particular, like, Night of the Living Dummy,
but it's a lot closer.
Yeah, it's much closer.
Tighter's probably the word I'd use.
Okay, so Goosebumps tropes. I feel like this movie, like, includes so many of them.
Yeah.
So, so many of those books open with a kid moving to a new town, a new house, a new school. They've lost one of their parents, their family is broken, they have a weird neighbor that's doing creepy things, they have these strange new friends who say and do weird things.
They're a little ostracized.
For some reason.
One of their parents is #cringe.
Yeah, their parents, like, don't, like, they're good parents that listen to, but there's always that, like, boy who cried wolf aspect to it.
That's why when I was watching that was one of my initial guesses. It was like, I think my guess from the trailer's right, because they're all acting like Goosebumps characters.
Yeah.
So
we already talked about the mid-twist. So the twist with, like, Hannah being a ghost, that's not actually, like, really a typical Goosebumps twist. A Goosebumps twist usually happens on the last page.
Like, and the kids were robots the whole time.
Yeah.
That is legitimately one of the twists from one of the books, and I can never remember which one it is. It's like they're in a theme park, and they were robots built to test a theme park.
Is it Shocker on Shock Street?
I think so. That might be it.
I think so. So this movie does have one of those.
Yeah.
Which I usually forget about.
the Invisible.
The Invisible Boy. The Invisible Boy's Revenge. My thought this time when I was watching it was like, was he just sitting in that glass case waiting for R.L. Stine to walk by?
I kind of hope so.
It's like, I'm gonna open up this glass case, I'm gonna creep in here and just wait. Just sit here with this typewriter and just wait.
I'm gonna get you, motherfucker.
I'm gonna get you.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
All right, let's jump to characters. And I was going to bury the lead, but we won't. We'll start with Jack Black, who plays R.L. Stine and Slappy.
He plays Slappy, too?
He's the voice for Slappy. The puppeteer work was Mick Wingert.
I mean, I didn't think he was the puppeteer.
No, but I just wanted to shout out the puppeteer.
I mean, you should. I don't think puppeteers get enough credit for some of the stuff we talk about.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree, which is why I have him on here. So what did you think? Well, we'll start with R.L. Stine. So
He's not who I would have pictured as like playing an R.L. Stein, but now I would not recast anyone else as R.L. Stein.
Yeah, it's like a super exaggerated version of him. Like I've watched interviews and I've seen him, and he always reminds me of Stephen King as like just kind of a quiet, dour.
I've actually sold more than Stephen King. No one ever talks about it.
Let me tell you something about Steve King.
I legit think that that's something he's like gotten mad about at some point, and
possible.
That's why it's in the movie. Like somebody knew or heard him say that, and they're like, "Dude."
When he walks into the auditorium and it's The Shining, and he goes, "Unbelievable."
Yeah.
But he doesn't strike. Obviously, I don't know how R.L. Stein acts in real life. It doesn't strike me that he acts like this.
It's like Jack Black.
No, but I think this is like a good fuse of like a Jack Black character and what an exaggerated version of R.L. Stein might be.
That's fair. Yeah. And like I said, I would not recast him at this point. I'm like, I wouldn't want a more realistic R.L. Stein. I think that this worked, especially for like the tone of the movie.
Yes.
So
I have this thing about Jack Black. Whenever like it's announced that he's going to be in something and is playing someone, in my head I always go like, oh, he's going to be
every time Bowser.
Oh, he's going to be Bowser. And then like I watch it and I was like, oh, this is great.
Peaches.
Like I don't know why I have this prejudice against Jack Black in my head, but it doesn't like. I'm struggling to think of something I've seen him in that I hate.
I think it's probably coming from the movie where he's a Mexican wrestler.
Nacho Libre, I did not finish. I could not make it through Nacho Libre.
I think that's the movie that gave me the prejudice against Jack Black, because I remember walking out of that movie going, ugh.
Thankfully, I didn't see it in theaters. I saw part of it on TV, and I'm like, you know what,
I was such a Jack Black fan, I went to go see that in theaters.
Yeah.
Nacho! Like, that trailer cracked me up.
Okay.
The movie's played way too straight, but that's enough of Nacho Libre.
I think it was trying to, actually, maybe it came out before. The impression I got is it's like trying to build on that, like, Napoleon Dynamite.
It reminded me of the trailer wasn't like Napoleon Dynamite, but neither was Napoleon Dynamite's trailer.
Yeah, like everybody is super serious, but they're also ridiculous,
and just silly things are happening.
Yeah,
and you know what? That's fair. I just don't think it does it as well.
No.
So,
I haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite since college. I've been wanting to watch it with Emma because I think she'll hate it.
She'll hate it the first time, and every other time it'll get better. That's the Napoleon Dynamite curse.
Okay, what about Slappy?
Loved him.
Yeah.
If this was just a Slappy movie, I would not have been mad.
Not to get too much into the sequel, but that's my complaint. I wish it would have
just been a
Slappy movie.
I was kind of okay with like if they like gave you the premise like his books can come to life, and like you start with like the what was it, the Abominable Snowman?
Yeah.
And you do that, and then it's Slappy. Mm-hmm. And then just Slappy's doing nonsense. Like, he's the real villain. Like, he got out.
Yeah.
Now, what he does is probably something that Slappy would do.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I like that Slappy is portrayed as, like, the R.L. Stein's, like, dark side. Like, we're two sides of the same coin.
It's Pennywise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. His Pennywise is a Chucky ripoff, but I like him better. I think Chucky came out first.
Night of the Living Dummy is 90s.
Okay, then definitely.
And Child's Play, the first one's 80s, I guess.
Yeah, it's like early 80s. Or mid 80s.
Mid 80s. My 80s.
And they're both brought to life using like this like weird chant thing. Mm-hmm. But I only give him that. I love Slappy in this.
Yeah, he's excellent. I love him as the ringleader. I love the lights flicker and just where'd he go? Fuck, where'd he go?
I don't know how you could have added it in and like made it great, but when he was doing that, it just kept reminding me of Batman.
Yeah,
I'm over here now. I kept expecting like a Batman joke, like he was gonna wear like a Batman Halloween mask or something.
Mm-hmm. I just adore the first time he appeared. They walk in the room and he's sitting in there. Hello, Papa. He just keeps calling him dad. He's my dad. And the second one, like, I had a papa, but he betrayed me. But a mother's love never dies.
I'll be your mommy.
All right, we'll get to that. All right, let's keep going. Dylan Minnette, Zach Cooper, our protagonist. We recently reviewed him as the bully in Let Me In.
I like him better in this.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's really good. Obviously, he's not like the funny character. He's
an R.L. Stein character.
Yeah, but I think he fits the role like 100%.
Like, all of these people, and again, it is a Goosebumps movie. I just think it's funny, like, it's like a meta Goosebumps movie, but they're all still playing Goosebumps characters.
Yeah. I love how he has, like, no reservations about anything. Breaking and entering, filing a faulty police report.
Because it's just something that Goosebumps characters do.
Yeah.
Like, Goosebumps is really written with, like, kids' logic in mind. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no consequence to breaking and entering.
Well, it's a written warning.
Yeah. You know, you can just go file a police report. That'll fix it, you know. Yeah. Because R.L. Stein writes these books that he doesn't go into these long explanations of why they wouldn't work. He just child logic.
Yeah, just, okay, this girl's in trouble, so I'm just going to hop over this fence and go to this house and just try and save her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. And they are a little aged up from, like, your typical Goosebumps.
Yeah, they are, because typical Goosebumps, like, somewhere between 10 and 12.
Yeah. But I think, like, for a movie, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think
that makes it more palatable as a family movie, and it also helps you find people who can act better.
I'm gonna say this, and then we're gonna table it for Kiss Me Fat Boy, but it makes it more palatable because everybody in this movie is super horny. We'll get to that.
Teenagers.
Yeah. Okay. He's good. Odeya Rush as Hannah Stein. I'm gonna ask you right now, how quickly would high school martyr complex Daniel die for this girl?
Like, as quick as this kid did. So,
yeah.
Not, like, I'd be like, you know what? If this girl was giving me any amount of attention in high school, I still probably die for her, but be more like an older brother dad sort of way.
Yeah. Like, I want a wolf and cub with this girl.
Yeah.
I want you to be my Grogu.
Yeah. As an adult watching this, I identify more with R.L. Stein than I do with the kid.
Yeah.
So, or, you know, Jack, you know what I meant.
Yeah.
That's the character I go, oh, that's who I want to be.
Yeah.
I identified as the dad, so.
I thought that, like, in these movies, the romance, like, subplot doesn't generally, like, appeal to me, but these two have, like, a really cute story.
No, it's cute. It kind of reminds me of, like, Let Me In.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a more kid-friendly version of that.
It's cute.
Mm-hmm. The Ferris wheel scene at the beginning is super adorable.
And the reason I don't give, like, a lot of, like, shippers too much, like, shit is because I'm like, as long as you're not drawing these children nude together.
Yeah, and there's like nothing. The thirsty characters aren't really Zach and Hannah. It's everybody else in this movie.
The freaking aunt.
The aunt is so horny.
I love the aunt.
She is so funny.
Wood smash.
I think I killed that bear.
But yeah, no, I think they're super cute together. I thought she did a great job too.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
The second I like switched which twist I thought it was as soon as Slappy called R.L. Stein father. I was like, oh, okay, she's a monster.
Yeah.
That's what got me. I was like...
And she's actually, like, if I were more familiar with a particular book, I would have called it earlier. So, there's the Goosebumps book, The Ghost Next Door.
Yeah.
And the ghost next door is a girl, and her name is Hannah.
Yeah. I did get the monster wrong.
Mm-hmm.
My suspicion, because I was still, like, trying to, like, piece it together with the trailers, was like, I bet you she's going to turn into the werewolf at some point. That was my guess. I was wrong.
And I've got a bunch of the, like, bigger monsters listed under scary shit. So
it's the werewolf of Beaver Swamp.
He knows my scent. We'll talk.
Yeah, when we get there.
Steve Smith comes to life. See, I picture this kid as, like, you and Steve Smith had a baby and didn't give him enough attention.
Yeah.
And he's, like, my favorite person.
No, he's also great. I don't have anything bad to say about these people. I just don't have a lot to say.
Yeah, this is more gushing than, like, analysis. But Ryan Lee plays Champ.
Yeah.
Who just makes me laugh with, like, everything he says.
I think this might be, like, one of the best family movies I've seen. Like, something you can watch with your kids and still enjoy.
For, like, family-friendly Halloween theme movies, this might be my favorite, except for maybe like the first, like the OG, like the 90s Addams Family movies.
Yeah.
I'll probably tiff off some people, but I think this is better than Hocus Pocus.
I think this is better than Hocus Pocus.
No shade to Hocus Pocus. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
But
has a talking cat, so it gets a pass.
Yeah. Zachary Banks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Champ just, he's the kid. He's like, he has no friends. He sees a new kid and he's like, I can picture him sitting behind Zach on those bleachers and be like, okay, be cool. This is your only chance to have like a friend. So
take the fedora off.
Take the fedora off. Take the trench coat off. Plop down. Slam your business card in his hand. This is my Twitter. We're gonna be best friends. Listen to my best friend Zach.
I did identify with this guy too.
Yeah, I think most like high school guys could identify with this character at some point. Can you bring a friend? I really don't care what she looks like.
I don't want to die alone.
How did you do that? Silver fillings.
It's so good.
I when Jack Black gets stuck in the gate and he's like, "Run, save yourselves." He's like, "Okay, good luck," and he just takes off. So, fuck it. Okay, and then I just kind of want to talk about them together. Amy Ryan from The Office and Jillian Bell play Gail Cooper and Lorraine, Zach's mom and aunt. They're both hilarious. I love the way that they torture him. The scene with the bedazzled Nike's cap is so funny. It reminds me of how I torture my own children.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah.
I was like, did you take notes?
Yeah. No, I totally did. And the aunt, like, just like everything she says, just absolutely slays me. When she's talking to the dog, it's like, then we'll go find your owner. Is he single? Is he thinking about leaving his wife? Does he need a push? Like, how desperate are you, woman?
That's pretty funny.
And she's talking about R.L. Stein, and she's like, oh, they call him Mr. Shivers. It's very creepy, very sexy. He has a certain a scent. It's like BO and mint. It works.
I'll have to try it.
And when she hits the werewolf, it's like, I think I killed that bear. I'm sorry. I just love her. She and somebody who I didn't have listed on here, who also just totally kills me, is the cops.
I love the cops.
Yeah.
I would, if they do another Goosebumps movie at any point, I'm like, I want them to follow just the cops, like investigating weird Goosebumps shit.
They could have a cameo in the new show.
Yeah, because I'm like, they were funny.
They were so funny.
You're a pedophile.
I was gonna bring that up. She thinks he's a pedophile and she's ready to shoot him in the head.
It means he likes noise.
The other cop is super horny and he's trying to get her to come home and he's like, oh, you haven't seen The Blob with Steve McQueen? I've got it on Laserdisc. Come over to my house.
That's inappropriate, dude. You're her boss.
Yeah, I know. That's super inappropriate.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean...
But I'm a sex pest.
But it's just The Blob on Laserdisc. Like...
Yeah,
come on.
That's funny.
He's also going to make Jiffy Pop on the stove.
You know what? Maybe this girl that I was talking to, maybe I'm going to use that line just to see what happens.
Should be like, what's a Laserdisc?
She's in her 20s, so that'll be funny.
I remember watching stuff on Laserdiscs in elementary school.
Yeah. The chubby kid who gets, like, taken by the mantis.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I don't
think he had a name.
But he shows up, like, a couple of times. He was funny.
Yeah, he was funny, too. I love that scene. Oh, the booger man's out there. Oh, there's a giant bug eating everybody's cars.
Not funny.
And then...
I was honestly, like, surprised. Like, that's something that surprised me is, like, everybody, like, sees the monsters. Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be, like, one of those things, like, that they are always just out of sight. Nobody gets, like, the full picture of what happened.
Yeah.
And instead it's like, no, man, like, everybody sees everything going on.
Yep, nope. The whole town gets a dose of it.
I'll kill you all. I'll drive you crazy, and I'll kill you all. I'm every nightmare you ever had.
I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
So moving on to scary shit. Is this movie scary?
I don't think it's trying to be.
No, it's not. It's definitely like a family comedy. In the Saturn Awards categorized it as fantasy, which obviously it's not like a high fantasy movie, but I do think it has like a lot of fantasy elements, and that definitely fits. But it also has, you know, like all the Halloween and Goosebumps tropes that makes it appropriate for our show.
I think the only thing that it was kind of missing was like some gross out humor.
Yeah, it didn't have...
Or like gross out horror.
That's what I was going to mention. Like, it's a trope of Goosebumps for something like gross to happen, like in Beast from the East when they get wrapped up in snakes.
Yeah, or
there's no
picking at an eye socket.
Yeah, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this more on the Goosebumps 2 episode, but I think there are more horror elements in that movie than there are in this one, which is fine. So I wanted to talk about the creatures, and before we talk about them individually, I wanted to say that I had some preconceived ideas about this movie that were actually wrong. So if you would have asked me prior to me doing some research, like what's like the CG to practical effects ratio in this movie, I would have been like, oh, it's like almost all CG. But I actually like did some research, and like obviously the Abominable Snowman and the Werewolf of Fever Swamp are computer animated.
Yeah.
The Shocker from Shock Street, the praying mantis. Almost everything else in this movie is practical.
That explains the budget.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. So a Slappy is entirely practical. Like every monster in the background in the all the high school scenes, they're all practical.
Okay.
And I watched like a behind the scene things. All of those costumes are super, super detailed.
For like these just tiny scenes.
Yeah. The Pharaoh, her eyebrows are painted on hieroglyphics that spell goosebumps in hieroglyphs.
Oh my god.
The zombies, the ghouls.
Yeah.
They used all Walking Dead actors. So they'd have experienced people, and all of those costumes took like 3 to 4 hours to put on for each of them. The wigs
for what amounts to cameos.
Yeah. When the adults got frozen, they have wigs on. Mm-hmm. Each of those wigs were custom made for the actors and took like 4 weeks to make.
When I was watching this movie, and we've talked about this before, sometimes you can just like feel love in the craft. This is an example of that.
Yeah.
Because they had to know that wasn't going to be like highlights of the movie. Like
that's not going to sell more tickets.
Yeah, but they still went that mile.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and there's more. Like this is a really good movie to like look up Easter eggs on YouTube and look at all the like little background details. Mm-hmm. But I have some stuff for Zombie Day, so we'll wait on that. Okay, so let's talk about some of these monsters. Let's start with the Werewolf of Fever Swamp, who was played by motion capture actor John Bernecker. Mm-hmm. And actually, I saw a video of him in the green suit on the set, like running through the... He chased everybody on the set in the grocery store. It was really cool.
That was cool.
What did you think of the Werewolf of Fever Swamp?
I liked it. Ideally, I would have loved like a practical effects werewolf, but I wasn't expecting one.
Yeah.
Even like, you know, I knew it wasn't in it because I saw the trailer like years ago. But I always prefer practical effects for werewolves, but I thought it looked fine.
I love like the design of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like just the aesthetic choices they used.
The basketball shorts, the Converse tennis shoes. I love all that. Yes, I also would have preferred practical, but I can see like the way that they made it move and the running and jumping that it did.
You'd have to like completely rewrite the scene.
Yeah, it would be difficult. And then also the Abominable Snowman, kind of the same.
Yeah.
Same comments. It looked cool, and the animation was fine. I would have preferred practical effects, but it would have been difficult to do what they did with a practical cryptid guy.
I agree with everything you said.
What about the praying mantis?
The praying mantis, I think, is the thing that looked the worst. Mm-hmm. It didn't take me out of the movie, but like if I'm sitting there like tier listing them, it would be at the bottom.
In terms of like the visuals.
Yeah. But I'm glad it was there. I love the gag they used for it, so I wouldn't have taken it out.
I was wondering, like, as much practical effect works as they did, the actual mantis like never really interacts with a person other than like quick shots.
That like really quick grab and the dude, and that's it.
I wonder if they could have done it as like a miniature.
Yeah.
And, like, make miniature. Granted, this would have been more money, but like a miniature of the high school, miniatures of the cars, and then make like a miniature of the, like, do like a stop motion version.
I was gonna say stop motion. I would have made it purposely look like stop motion too, as like a joke.
Yeah,
but
I think
there's a reason I don't work in Hollywood.
I think that would have been cool.
Yeah,
but I mean, obviously, it worked as it is. What about the lawn gnomes?
I love the lawn gnomes.
Yeah,
I love that they just like regenerate. I was like, they're Deadpool gnomes.
They're Terminator gnomes.
Yeah.
They're just like, you fucking can't kill us.
I thought they were freaking funny.
Yeah.
I think that was a very funny sequence, and I thought they looked very good. I liked, I haven't read the Gnomes book. It's one of the ones I haven't read.
I have read it, but I don't remember much of it.
But, like, whenever, like, their facial expressions would change, like, little chinks.
Yeah, they would break.
Yeah.
When they, like, twist their joints, they would
because
break.
You're made of ceramic.
Yeah.
Of course you'll, like plaster and shit will break off of you. And I didn't think about that, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's clever.
It's super creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And visually interesting, so.
Were there any other, like, standout monsters that you wanted to bring up?
No, I think we covered them all.
Yeah, there's tons in the background.
Yeah.
But those are, like, the main ones. Aside from the haunted car, which I didn't really mention because I was more focused on... The haunted car is from one of the newer Goosebumps series.
Hi, Christine.
But I was really focused on looking for ones from, like, the original Goosebumps series.
Like from when we were kids.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Kiss Me, Fat Boy.
This movie's so thirsty.
Everybody is so horny. The fucking gym teacher.
This movie was, I was expecting like teenage romance, but I was like, this movie's surprisingly horny.
Yeah. And it's mostly from the adults.
Which, I identify with.
The gym teacher.
Yeah.
The aunt. And to a lesser extent, Stein. But I wanted to bring this up. So, because this is something... I've seen this movie probably 10 times.
Okay.
And it didn't occur to me till now. If you are an adult... You are a lonely adult and you live alone. You have magic typewriting powers to bring a person into life. What would you / the vast majority of men do? A sweet innocent daughter for you to raise and love, or Jessica Rabbit, your wife, to sex you up every night?
I was waiting to make this joke. Dear Pithouse 4, I didn't believe Marge Simpson was real until the other day.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You think most men would probably create a woman, but he creates a daughter.
I would create both, but
yeah, I mean, sure.
but no, I get it. I'm like, oh man, he's either really creepy or super wholesome.
I didn't want to make... I mean, he is a what-a-phile?
A what-a-phile, yeah.
She's just ready to just blast him in the face.
If we can get a clip of that.
I didn't know being an audiophile was a crime.
A what-a-phile?
Whoa. That just means that he is a connoisseur of high-end audio equipment.
Oh.
Oh my god, are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz. King is really hard.
I'm going with he's a whatophile because I legit had to stop the movie. I was like, that's so freaking. I was like, that's so freaking funny. I had to rewind because I lost what was going on.
I'm just gonna say the humor.
Yeah, the humor is very spot on.
Champ, the cops, the ant,
and it's very family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a joke more for the parents.
Yeah,
but everything is still like. I could imagine sitting there and watching this with Asher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could watch this with one of my nephews and have a great time, and they could have a good time.
Yeah.
And I can't ask for more out of a movie.
But at the same time, like, you and I could watch this with beers.
Yeah, we could watch this with beers, and, like, I get that reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be a whole night.
So, yeah, I'm going to say the humor.
Yeah, I will also go with the humor.
For Koontz, sometimes when I watch this movie, it really bothers me that there's no explanation for why Slappy can exit the book without it being unlocked. Like, he unlocks his own book.
As much as I don't mind that there's, like, all of these references and all of these, like, monsters and stuff, I almost wish it would have focused more on just one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would have maybe, like, tightened things up just a little bit. Not that this movie's, like, really fast and loose, but if I'm, like, looking for a critique...
Mm-hmm.
And I had to laser focus on anything, that would be my preference for how to tell the story.
Yeah. My Koontz was either going to be what I just said, or I wish they would have done practical effects with the monsters that they use most.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, this...
Yeah.
It's already an expensive movie, and...
And, you know, if these are the tepid critiques we can offer.
Yeah. And again, this movie is pretty well critically received. One of the YouTube videos I watched said that fans are split on it. I guess I don't really have access to discourse from Goosebumps fans, so I don't really know. I could see there being, like, a group of people our age who are like, no, the show was better.
I promise this will be the only time I bring up Superman in this episode, right?
I don't care.
But I get in a lot of discourse with, like, Twitter Superman fans, and I've started to realize that the issue is that there's this age gap. There's, like, this generational thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have kids.
Mm-hmm.
I had a stepson. I have nephews. So when we watch this movie, we're like, oh, this is just a great time. And we're seeing stuff from our childhood that, you know, is a little nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
Where when people that maybe are either a little bit younger are watching it, that might have gotten into Goosebumps later, are watching this going, oh, it's just, this isn't, I don't care about this family stuff. Or... like, there's people who hate John Kent as a kid because they thought he was boring. And it's all these people that are, like, 18 years old, 20 years old. I'm like, oh, it's because you never raised a 10-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's boring to you, but, like, when I read them, I'm like, oh, that's adorable. And when I'm watching this movie and you're telling me this, if I had to take a shot in the dark, I'm like, I bet you they're going to be, like, slightly younger fans who got into Goosebumps later. Or maybe they don't have a family.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, just...
yeah.
So you're not identifying with the other stuff that's in the movie. And you just wanted the monsters.
And just a little bit on the whole, like, nostalgia discourse. Like, a lot of people would credit, like, that type of, like, movie making and that type of media making starting with, like, Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
This movie came out like a month after Force Awakens, so it's a little ahead of the curb on that whole thing.
And I have nothing to prove that, but if I had to take a shot in the dark, like you tell me the fan base is split, and I'm like, okay, well, here's my theory.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's just what somebody said in a YouTube video.
And it's not just Goosebumps, not just Superman. I keep experiencing that, where like I'm having like this, where it feels like me as a fan and another fan are like having a discourse, and we're just talking past each other, and then I just go, wait, let me go look at their profile. Okay, we're just not going to see eye to eye.
You could say the same thing about like most franchises. Like you're not the biggest fan of like newer Star Wars stuff, but I bet if you had kids and you were watching this stuff with your kids,
yeah,
you'd probably enjoy it more.
I'd put it on every day if that's what they wanted to watch. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
All right, so let's go to rankings, and you're going to rank first, and then I'm going to tell you my journey in ranking this.
It's going to be higher than I expected.
I will tell you it's pretty high on my list.
I liked it more than Battle Royale. I think I'm going to put it right below Reanimator.
So it's your new number 22.
Yeah, it's like right in that Reanimator range. I think Reanimator is just more geared towards a person like me.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, what I did with this is, like, I've seen this so many times, I don't need to watch it to rank it. So before I watched it, I sat down and I ranked it, and I put it at number 5. And then and what I wanted to do was watch it and then see if
it stuck.
If it stuck. And I'm actually, so I put it above everything except for It, Gremlins, Pet Sematary, and The Exorcist. And I'm actually going to bump it up to my number 3. Now, I wouldn't honestly tell you that this is a better movie than Pet Sematary or The Exorcist, but I would 100% rather watch this.
This is an enjoyment list.
Yeah. This movie makes me happy. It makes me laugh. Pet Sematary and The Exorcist are...
they do not make you laugh.
No. I mean, they're two of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
But
no, I had a great time watching this, so...
Hello, Mr. Stein.
Hello, Mr. Black.
Who's that?
He's the new drama teacher.
Okay, Zombie Day. So I have a few things. First, like, anybody who wants to put someone famous in a movie as a cameo, you should take this as, like, how to do it.
Yeah.
Because that R.L. Stein cameo is, like, one of my favorite movie cameos.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you missed it, he was Mr. Black, the new drama teacher, at the very end of the movie. And I just love the parallel of Jack Black is playing R.L. Stein, the English teacher, and R.L. Stein is playing Mr. Black, the drama teacher. Yeah. So they have each other's names. They have the job that the other one would have.
I think that's funny.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was great.
Mm-hmm. And I just like him walking by and saying hello, as opposed to, like, I could see...
Like, winking at the camera.
Or, yeah, like, breaking the fourth wall in some way, or them, like, trying to make him a monster or something.
A monster is what I was expecting. I was looking for... I'm like, is he the clown? You know? And then he showed up at the end. I was like, oh, okay, well, that's the cameo.
Oh, another... So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on Easter eggs, which I'd never done. I'd always wanted to do... But what I did when I watched it this time is I started with a list of all 62 original Goosebumps books, and as I watched it, I, like, checked references to them off the list, and I found references to all of them except for, I think, 27. And then when I like Googled, like, Easter eggs, I found references to, like, 3 or 4 more. So, like, almost all of them are referenced somewhere in this.
Yeah.
So I watched a bunch of videos. The clown in this movie, so the 3 kids who play Zach, Champ, and Hannah, they all identified him as the scariest one. The guy who plays the clown is a method actor, and he never broke character while on set. No. Which typically I think is stupid, but I think is kind of funny.
I think it's funny in this case.
Yeah, because it's one thing when you're, like, the lead and you're in every scene, but when you're a bit player who's in, like, 3 shots and you're playing a psycho clown, it's kind of funny.
I kind of hope he's, like, because I don't know who the actor is.
I don't think it's anybody famous.
Okay, because I was kind of hoping it was, like, this, like, maybe, like, a Broadway person who's like, I'm finally in Hollywood.
I'm gonna play this clown with no lines.
I gotta get into character.
Yeah.
Just that kind of person.
That's great.
that's what I want to picture. And I hope he gets more work because of it. Or I guess I don't know their gender. I assumed it was a guy playing the clown.
Yeah, I think so. Another thing, so I've never read the book The Blob Who Ate Everyone, but apparently this movie is, like, a semi-adaptation, because the book is about a magic typewriter, and anything you type on it comes to life.
And somebody types a giant blob.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the main character of The Blob Who Ate Everything is named Zachy Beauchamp. Zach Champ.
Oh my god, my first prediction's almost correct.
I thought that was cool.
No, that's cool.
Hallmark! One of the books that's not included is The Beast from the East, sadly. So if you were going to include the Beasts, Flegg and his ilk, how would you include them in this movie? And is there anybody in particular that you would cast?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be one of the first monsters that shows up.
Okay.
And it's just going to tag one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
You got till sunrise, And they would just keep showing up and commenting on all the shit that's going around. Oh, we didn't know you had gigantism. Like the mantis. That's 5 points and shit like that would keep happening. And it would just be like a running gag through the movie. And it would be Seth Rogen and his friends.
I like it.
I can't remember like the guys that are usually with Seth Rogen, but you know
those people,
like Adam Sandler's friends. You say that, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
And like Seth Rogen would be the main one, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm Donkey Kong," but he's the Beast from the East.
So, I would play them as teenagers.
Okay.
And I would use the kids from It, and they would come about later in the movie in the high school scene, where they're like, everybody's breaking in, and the principal's like, evacuate to the storage room, and they're running to the storage room, and then maybe they get attacked by the werewolf and they have to dive into a classroom, and they slam the door in the classroom, and then they turn around and it's a computer lab, and all the beasts are there on the computers, and they're all playing League of Legends.
That's not bad either.
And they're just giving each other shit and calling each other bitches, and like, I don't know, like, League of Legends references, but like, oh, you play that character, you're such a bitch, get up on my skill, I'm a level 3 player, shut your mouth.
You ain't got no Riz, no bitches, ain't even got no paper.
Yeah, like, or they're playing Call of Duty, and they're saying,
no, I got that.
Like the shit that people used to say to each other on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can say that in a movie.
No, but...
You're gonna drop some hard R's here.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay, cool. For further reading, I wasn't really sure, like, what to say that wouldn't be obvious, like,
just be obvious. A bunch of the Goosebumps books.
Yeah, a bunch of the Goosebumps books, like...
I also think we already brought it up, but something like Hocus Pocus.
I was going to mention Hocus Pocus. Monster House.
Monster House would be good.
Yeah.
Monster Squad.
I haven't seen Monster Squad.
It's like this, but more Goonies.
Goonies.
So like, picture like a more Goonies vibe, because it was made in that, like, era.
Cool. Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, next Sunday, is the first Sunday in February. So we're back on the Dark Tower train. Hef will be here. We're doing the second Dark Tower book, The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King, which I'm really looking forward to. And then the following Sunday, February 11th, we are going to go ahead and do, because why not, an episode on Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween, the sequel from 2018. And then our next two bonus episodes on February 1st and February 8th are just two movies we wanted to watch, The Ramen Girl with Brittany Murphy and Season of the Witch with Nicolas Cage and Ron Perlman.
We're just like, we want to watch them.
We just want to watch them.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of people who I hope are going to win a MTG Secret Lair set on Saturday, February 3rd, which we will release a video with that giveaway. Thank you to our patrons, Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben the Fourth, Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain.
Oh, she makes it rain. And thank you to Horseman Comics and Gaming for supplying those secret layers. Thank you, Ron. And definitely make sure to show your gratitude. Pop into the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, or the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're across from the Boxed Lunch store. And you can also shop online at shop.horsemancomics.com. And I keep meaning to talk to Ron about getting us like a code for people to put at checkout to show that they came from us. But I need to...
We'll get it.
Yeah, do that on my to-do list. Thank you, Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas, who's not as pretty as Princess Zelda, but I love him anyway.
I think you're as pretty as Princess Zelda.
Not Tears of the Kingdom, Princess Zelda.
Okay, fair.
All right.
You're Wind Waker, Zelda.
No comment. All right, Daniel, thanks for watching Goosebumps and recording with me.
I love you, Ryan.
I love you too, Daniel. Thank you to our patrons. Stay tuned for our socials and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody. How long did we talk about?
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.
I'll look at it and go, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's so bad.
He looks at me and goes, Daniel, how old is that character? I'm like, I don't want to know.
14, 16.
In the...
Not 18.
I love the violence of it, but even I'm reading this and I'm like, did this need to be in here? Like, Mion comes up to Kiichi, and she comments on him, how he might be too excited this morning, and it shows her eyes with dots looking down at his crotch. And I'm like, did that panel need to exist for this story?
No.
Not at all. Oh shit, are we recording?
Yeah. I'll put that after the credits.